Uh, didn't change. Didn't change much. They still had a lot of firepower. Of course, with Pierre and Boopy, you just look at what they did. The one person who also is one of my favorite players in the league is Edwards. I think he's kind of one of those ultimate guards who just impacts winning, and a lot of what he does doesn't show up. So that was a huge loss for them, obviously. But it didn't change our approach. They still are a really good team. They've had a really good year, and the way they score and the firepower they have is always scary.
Cody, you got ranked this week. You've been playing well. Talk about your team, though, just going out and kind of letting all that noise be noise and just play the game.
Yeah, I didn't think we did a great job of it, to be honest with you. I felt like we started the game very sluggish. And for me, I can always tell with the rebounding and the way they flew to the glass. And I think before the first media, I had 6 offensive boards, and they were just kicking our butts on the glass. And then we kind of settled in the game. But for me and for us as a program, this is something we have to get comfortable in, and be comfortable with. Because that is the goal. The goal is to be ranked, and the goal is to be in the top half of the ACC and to be fighting for double buys. So some of the guys that we have that you never know who you get back, but have the ability to get back. You want them to be comfortable in these moments.
But you do have that double buy now. What does that mean?
It just gives you more time to rest. We got a bunch of banged up people. They battled through. We had one. Timo was out tonight. His back blocked up on him. We got a bunch of heavy minute guys, so it just gives you more time to rest before you have to play.
No, you're not going to focus really on where the season is right now, but the most regular season wins, you matched that for school history tonight. Can you put in perspective what it's been like, though?
It's been, no, I can't. The one thing I've tried to do is just kind of try to stay in the moment. So I really haven't thought about it. Maybe after Saturday, when this part of the season's over, I may reflect a little bit. But, it seems like a long season, but it goes fast. It goes fast. And I'm just blessed because I have good people around me, good administration, good coaches, and then the players have been open with me coaching them and been accepting of me coaching them. So it's made it easy.
When you got to Miami, what were some of the traits and factors you looked at in terms of building this team, the things that you prioritized most putting together?
The most important thing with me was building it with size. The last 3 years in the league, we did have the best players, so that always helps. But we had great size and great positional size, and I felt like in year one that was the best way to be competitive. Now, when you do that, you give up a little bit. Although we had our best 3-point shooting night of the year tonight, but it's normally not something we do. And we've been able to win, and the guys have bought into the identity of being big, being physical, points in the paint, free throw line, second chance points, things like that to make up for the threes. But it was all built around size, and it started with Malik, to be honest with you.
When you talk about the three stuff, or hit the one right before the half gives you a 7-point lead,
Yeah.
That's 2 games in a row he's at 4 threes.
No, yeah, he's been huge. He's been huge for us. The Boston College game, he gave us our lead and kind of separated. And then, like you were saying, his threes in the first half, and then the one he had in the second half was also big. And I thought the guys did a great job of sharing it. Anytime you have 20 assists, now we have 16 turnovers, which I felt there was a moment in the game, I think we were up 16, if I'm not right, where we could have went up and made a big jump, but we just got too casual. We got too casual, and we had like 3-4 turnovers in a row that gave them some life and kept them around. And then the same thing at the end, like the last 2 minutes, same thing happened.
That being said, and like you talked about a little bit of the sluggish start, you still overall like the way your team's playing?
I do. I feel like our confidence and our belief is where it needs to be now at this part of the season. And it takes a whole season to get there and get the guys to understand. But whenever you go into March, you want to be rounding into form. I think we're rounding into form. We're not still quite there yet. And it's just little minor tweaks that I think can make us take another jump. It's not anything big that I think is glaring. So that's always what you want when you're coming down the stretch.